Hmtv Matters.
Welcome, everyone, to our next installment of Legacy Chronicles, honoring the past and shaping the future. I am your host, Donna Rosenblum, and I am here with a good friend and wonderful person, Ronit Kessler, who is a second-generation survivor. And we are going to be chatting about what that means. So why don't we start with, first of all, thank you so much for being on the podcast, Ronit.
Absolutely.
And let's talk about your parents briefly, if you can, because we have your father and your mother. Mm-hmm. Maybe just talk about where they were from and very short little snippet of their story.
Sure. My father, Meir Yusupovix, is from a town called Papaniki, Poland. He, through the war, ended up at two ghettos, one in his own town called the Papaniki, mm-hmm. which later he was transferred to the Łódź ghetto. And from there, he ended up in 3 concentration camps. He first was in Auschwitz. Mm-hmm. And from Auschwitz, he took the death march to Mauthausen. Mm-hmm. From Mauthausen, he was sent to Ebensee. Mm-hmm. And from Ebensee, he was liberated by a Jewish British brigade from Palestine.
Right.
So very brief.
Yeah. And he's how old now?
He is going to be 99 in September.
99 September.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yes, he was 13 years old right before his bar mitzvah when the war started.
Okay. And your mom?
And my mom's from Czechoslovakia, from a town called Kliciny, just right outside of Prague. Her family were socialite farm owners outside. They were wealthy landowners, property owners, had a thriving farm. And basically when the war started, or it started to progress or move towards Czechoslovakia, my grandfather knew, let's try to get out. Let me try to sell the farm. He unfortunately was unable to. Then the Czechoslovakian army, because of the location, asked, can we use your farm fields for our defense and your horses to help our army? And he said sure. And they also, because they lived in or not that they lived, I'm sorry, they had a telephone, which was really unusual back then, and had a mode of communications. Their location was very crucial.
So they set up like a headquarters
there. Mm-hmm. Then unfortunately they were overrun by the Germans, and then the Germans took over the farm. And my grandfather continued to proceed to try to get out. And fortunately, he was at the right place, the right time, had the money. When he went to one of the Jewish agencies, a German that was there said, oh, it's okay. I don't know why you want to leave. We're going to make Czechoslovakia great. But gave him the permission to leave. So he, with 7 other families, were like the last families that got visas out of Czechoslovakia.
And what year was that?
47, I want to say 46, 47, I think. Yeah, I think that's about right. And is that right?
Not 40. That's after the war.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like I think it's, wait, let me take that back. I'm trying to remember.
It's okay. Yeah, it's all right. Go ahead.
It might be 39.
I was just going to say, it had to have been before.
Right.
Yeah, right before
chronologically,
things,
yeah, I'm getting it a little messed up. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
My date
39.
piece is not perfect.
Yes, it's all right.
Anyway, so they got on the last train, which brought them to Italy. And from Italy, they got on the last boat that left Europe
so
to Palestine.
Yeah,
so,
39, 40.
Yeah, I think 39 now that I'm clarifying. Okay. So that's
your mom is how old?
My mom is 96.
And you didn't say your mom's name.
Oh, I'm sorry. Her name is Doris. Her maiden name was Fischel, and married is Yusupovix.
Mm-hmm. And that you have your parents.
Yes, I'm very blessed. And I'm also blessed because they still are able to share their story and are very passionate about sharing it with the community when given the opportunities.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I have the good fortune of knowing your parents as well, and they're lovely, lovely
you.
people.
Thank
So
you.
sweet.
Thank you.
So, growing up in that kind of household, were your parents open about being survivors? Did they talk about? Did they have other was there a survivor network? Like, when did you realize my parents are a little different than everybody else's parents? Or did you? Or maybe not?
I think I did, but I wasn't so self-aware because they didn't talk about it at all. Like my father, the first time it was even kind of brought up was when after college, I was going to Europe with a friend. I was going to Austria, and he saw an article in the New York Times that the Camp Mauthausen, which he was in, had just opened up to the public as a museum. And he did one of these where, you see this place? I was there, and you're going to Austria. I want you to go. And that was really the first kind of indication that he went through something. I mean, we never watched anything violent on TV. Like, it was immediately shut off, turned off. I knew he had a tattoo, but didn't bring it a lot of attention to it. It was very not discussed.
Right.
And they weren't part of a community of survivors at all. So I think that's why it didn't really cultivate it. I knew he had cousins in Brooklyn, but they were cousins. Like, I didn't really have any sense of the backstory.
Right.
But even after going to Austria, still there wasn't a lot of discussion about it, and kind of went to bed, so to speak. And then later in life, really like in my 40s, I had the opportunity to go to a young women's mission through Hadassah that took us to Poland, Warsaw, then Krakow to Auschwitz, and then on to Israel. That the impact of really what my father went through started to set in, and thus I kind of came back and said, hey, are you ready
To
talk? And still didn't ask a lot of questions. Was really low key about it. But, and I think it wasn't only him ready to share. I think for me, it was me being able to take it in. Like it was like I knew it was there, and I needed to know that information, but I never was ready to take it in. And I think not until later in life, when my daughter, my older daughter, was in 5th grade, and she had to write an essay about someone from a different generation. Did I approach my dad? Would you talk to our daughter Alana? She's got this essay, blah, 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 but you'll realize you're talking to a 5th grader. And he said, sure. And I have to tell you, I think the information coming through the
3G.
3G opened up my ability to take it in.
Yeah.
And soon after that, he went to Israel to visit a surviving cousin who was like a brother to him. And that cousin's family went back to their town and got his birth certificate. And when that cousin came back, and when my father saw this birth certificate, he comes back from Israel and he goes, I'm ready to go back. I want my birth certificate. And literally, I think it was six or 8 weeks later.
When was that? What year?
2007.
All right, so relatively recently.
Recently. And we collected the whole family, my sister, her kids, and we went back to Poland and to his town where he lived and everything. And that opened up the gates. Yeah. But really growing up, they were just hardworking, not just, they were hardworking immigrant people who made a life for us and worked really hard at making minimal wage and later on having a local card gift business and yeah, made a life for us.
Was there, growing up, were there anything though that you, looking back now, you see and you realize that that was definitely because they were survivors. Like a lot of 2Gs will talk
Right.
about those
Yeah.
things. Food in particular.
Yeah, food.
No
leftovers,
right.
eat everything. Yeah.
The certain sense of being grateful for everything that you have. Maybe having money set aside somewhere, or almost like a bag packed ready to go, or walking into a room and knowing where all the exits are and scoping things out. Like, did your parents do any of those things?
No, I think the most evident or most obvious to me was the food thing.
Yeah.
Is you don't waste food, you eat what's at the table, just that was very evident. Also, waste of any kind. Even like, finding another use for a toilet paper roll. Like my mother still to this day has multiple uses for everything and holds on to it because someday she
might need it.
And fortunately, I collected a little of that. Yeah, those I would think were very evident of that, of living during a time where they either had nothing or had very little and needed to make it stretch.
Yeah.
Those are probably the most obvious because, like I said, I grew up with them really not talking about it at all. So only as an adult later on in life it became more relevant. And then me reflecting on it more so.
Did the movie Schindler's List have any, I know for a lot of survivors, that was a pivotal moment watching that movie, and Spielberg having the Shoah Foundation where they've said, okay, it's almost like it gave them permission to speak.
So what's really interesting about that, he never watched it, never was interested. When they were doing those interviews, I asked him, would you like to do it? He goes, no, because when he spoke to his friends in Israel, other survivors, so many of them hadn't spoken at all. And then they grudged all these memories out, and it really impacted them emotionally, their mental health. And that really, really scared my father. At that point in his life, he was not ready to. So he didn't do it in the 80s when they were doing all that interviewing. Interestingly enough, my grandfather and my uncle did. My mother never really considered herself a survivor.
Yeah, I know.
Especially being the wife to my father and all he went through. Only more recently has she embraced the title, if you want to call it that.
Right.
So that's what's a little different. But
have they visited the museum in Washington or Yad Vashem?
Yes,
They have.
They've done that. Also, obviously, when we went back to Poland, we went to the museums there. But I'm happy to say recently, within the past couple of months, because the Shoah Foundation has started interviewing again, that they did get interviewed. So now they are part of the archives.
Wonderful.
And yeah, check that box.
Yay. So do you feel that when did you really embrace the mission that my parents' stories need to be saved, they need to be heard, they need to be documented, and that you have taken on the role? I mean, your parents are still alive.
Right.
So it's a little different.
Right.
But you have already made that commitment that
Right.
you're going to champion the cause. And not every 2G has embraced that.
True.
Why did you choose to do that?
I think it started with when we took, first my mission, that I went on in the early 2000s, and then taking that trip with him, and him willing to start to talk. So, and even though they are still speaking, it's very much a duo experience.
Right. You're with them.
I'm with them, and their PR agent, and through the whole journey. So,
yes,
it's getting emotional.
I know. Don't. It's okay. And I had again the privilege of being with you and your mom this past year with Witness Project, and I saw that where sometimes your mom also would lose track, and you would be like, "Mom." And you'd bring her right back. But you were the kids were so engaged with your mom and with you bringing the skis, and you went back to your mom's town and you got information, the farm. So it's almost like you are their extension. It's a natural thing, and it's beautiful. Yeah. So
become it's a journey together. So it's just as the process has given them tremendous purpose. Me too. Like I found like that next process in my life, my next purpose.
Right.
And it's very rewarding, and it's great.
And I would say that you've even extended it to your own children.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, I know Alana.
Right.
As well. We work together.
Right.
And she's also right there next to you as the next, as the 3G. And maybe you want to talk a little bit about when she was Bat Mitzvahed and that.
Yes.
Because that's a very beautiful story.
Yes. So when Alana was Bat Mitzvahed at 13, I said to my dad, would you read Torah? Because our synagogue is very open to let guests and congregants to read, especially during a family member's bar bat mitzvah. So I said, Dad, will you read? And he's like, sure. I figured it'd be easy enough. He reads Hebrew. It should be no big deal. And something came over us and we said, he's never been bar mitzvah. Could he be bar mitzvah? So, of course, we asked Alana and she's like, sure. And we didn't even ask him. He didn't even know. Nobody knew. My mother didn't know. It was just within Alana and my husband and I and the rabbi. And so literally when he went up to read Torah, little did he know, the rabbi comes over, covers the Torah, and the next thing you know, he's being bar mitzvahed. It's one of the biggest highlights to his life.
Yeah, I'm sure, because he was deprived that at that time, and
to think he shared it with a grandchild.
It's the most beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It is.
It was really special. It was really
for everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everyone everyone in that temple, and the rabbi too. How often does a rabbi get a chance to do something like that?
No,
so I'm sure.
And he always, like my father wears it like a badge of honor, and that he always loves to bring it up.
Yeah.
It's
a wonderful thing. Wonderful thing. So we've covered a lot of ground and many different things. What would you say to other 2Gs that maybe are not sure about carrying this mission forward? Do you have any little pearls of wisdom to maybe convince them that this is something they need to do? Look, everybody has different feelings, different mission, different agenda, different relationship with their parents, different relationship with their siblings. What would you say to maybe get them to think a little differently?
It's not us, then who? I guess is that simple, but it's not easy. I mean, you could say,
it's emotional.
Yeah.
I'm crying. It's okay. It makes Ronnit. It makes this special because you're special.
Oh, thank you.
No, it's true.
I think. Listen, you have to be a certain personality to tissue.
Yeah, actually, there's one right there. Right. Yep, if you can grab. Perfect.
I think you have to be a certain personality to do it because it's heavy. It's not easy. Look, I've been fortunate that I've been on this journey. It's hard to believe, probably 6 or 7 years already, which is even more. Gosh, it could be 8 years, 8 or 9 years, 10, whatever.
Yeah,
but
it's been a while.
Right, but I'm taking the journey with my parents now. Some didn't have that opportunity. So for me, it's almost like second nature. For others to just pick it up, it could be challenging, and it could be heavy, but the
rewards,
thing, right? The rewards are huge. The impact you make when you're sitting in front of people sharing what your parents went through, and even if it impacts someone on the littlest way, or or they take something away, or if they don't take it away that minute, something later in life clicks. I think you're making a difference in people's lives, and I try very hard is to just not make it only about what my parents experienced, but make it relatable to other kids, and in this very diverse community we live in, is to also make them look back at their heritage and what possibly their grandparents, great parents, or even parents went through to give them the life they have today. So it's the Holocaust story and experience and so much more. And then that's a gift you can give to a community that you speak to.
Absolutely. And look, that's we try so hard here at the center to take these stories and to make them human.
Exactly. That's
to make kids feel, to make them connect. Yes. Because if they're not going to connect, then then the mission gets wasted.
Correct.
We need them to connect, to feel, and it's not about the Jewish story. I mean, it is about the Jewish story.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Of course.
Yes.
First and foremost, but it's also about many other things.
Yeah.
And that piece of the humanity, that's why we're at, hmTv, Humanity Matters. It's about humanity and the kind of people we want to be. So I do believe that what your parents are doing, what you're doing is remarkable and so needed, and those connections are made. I don't think any kid, I say this constantly, every kid that walks out of our doors here is affected.
Yeah.
Some will show it more than others. Yeah. They all are affected. Yeah. And I like to think that they are better and that it will impact them in many ways.
And then something, I always think that if it doesn't happen right here and now, when they walk out the door and a circumstance or a situation comes up, and then a light bulb will go off after walking through this museum or meeting a survivor or wherever, that all of a sudden the connections will be made and the impact will take place. I think that's...
Absolutely. Yeah. I believe that. Yeah. I mean, that's why we do what we do. Exactly. Otherwise, we wouldn't.
Absolutely.
Lastly, and it's very heavy, but
got the tissue.
How are you and how are your parents dealing with the present world? I know, both your parents were in Israel for a period of time and then came here to kind of escape, or maybe to build a life here in America where they were free and protected.
Yeah.
And how are they feeling?
Look, my dad, for example, is really sad. I mean, what I didn't mention earlier in his bio is that he fought for the state of Israel. He was in the War of Independence and was actually captured by the Jordanians and was in a POW camp for 9 months after already going through all he did in Europe during the Holocaust. So and that's another badge of honor he's so very proud of, being a part of creating the state of Israel, and is really very obviously sad and upset and just they're like no words. Like he can't even describe what it makes me crazy that he watches as much news as he has. But fortunately, he's able to process it and not let it overtake him emotionally and so forth. I personally try to minimize my sound bites of it, because if you go down that rabbit hole, it's
hard.
It's hard, and it's enough to have parents that are survivors and then go through this. So I read the headline and kind of stop and watch a little news and don't let myself get too far in, and try to do for me personally to make an impact, deal with it on a micro level. Just what I could do in my community to educate, be a part of programming that will impact, educate, and things like that. And that's how I feel I can make a difference. And I think my parents recognize that too for what they do around the community.
Yeah.
Because we can't do anything globally. We're not those people, and to get sucked into that is just not healthy.
Well, it was beautiful in the Witness Project
Right.
when your mom basically said, all I want is to have peace in my lifetime.
Yeah.
After what your parents went through, that's her all she wants is peace. She just wants the world to be at peace. I think it's a beautiful testament to your parents and to you and to your family. So on that note,
Yes.
I want to thank everyone for joining us today. I want to thank Ronit for being part of the podcast.
Thank
and
you.
please like, share, subscribe, and come back for our next installment, which we'll be taping shortly.